Welcome to Conversations with C News. I am Dionne Baptiste. Good afternoon. Joining me today is Private Ryan. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
I want you to start by telling me about Private Ryan. Where did that name come from?
The name was given to me by one of my colleagues. I don't know if you know Hyper Hopper, who works on Red 97. In the year about 2002 or 3, he started calling me the number one recruit because I was one of the youngest DJs, I think if not the youngest DJ on the scene. And he said, everyone's trying to recruit you to play in all these events at such a young age. So then it then evolved into Private Ryan, the number one recruit, Private Ryan, yeah.
Okay.
Stuck.
Your interest in music is said to have started at age 6.
Yes.
When did you decide, at what point did you decide that this is what you want to do with your life? This is what you want to pursue as a career?
Well, see, my career took a lot of different steps. You know, I was playing as a young person, just fascinated with music. Then it evolved into me really, owning the craft and practicing, like mixing. I used to, take some of the records from my father's vinyl collection and then start trying to mix things with the radio. Then I used to do the pause and unpause to record. And then it evolved into me, saving up some money, allowance money, asking my parents for, and practicing on turntables. Then at age 16, I was playing in clubs, like I did bass and Club Coconuts and those things. But the thing is that the backbone of it is that, I was always still very much in school. So like there was never a compromise in terms of the music, and school would suffer. And, when I went away to FIU in 2005, apart from being in college, I would also play in a lot of the college parties, and I started traveling as well too. And then it started to evolve in a way where I created the podcast, and then I started traveling the world, and here I am.
Is your family always supportive of you pursuing music as a career?
Very much so, both of them. My father has a genuine love for music, so he never was against it. And my mother, her only stipulation was never lose focus on your target. But you need to be educated, you need to be very focused on school, take it seriously. And once I did that, then I was allowed to, still do my music and all those things. So it was a balance. It was always a balance. They always preach balance and keeping focus.
Would you say that social media has influenced your rise to infamy?
I would say yes and no. Because the thing is that when I created the mixes, the podcast that everyone knows now, it was actually in the era of no social media. There was no Snapchat, no Instagram, no Twitter. It was just Facebook, and Facebook at the time when Facebook launched, Facebook actually was a closed platform that was only available to students in America, right? So it was a way to connect with people who were in different colleges. Eventually, Facebook opened up, and then it became a worldwide thing. But I created, when I used to use Facebook, it was really just a closed forum for college students to get connected with the music. So I would make these free mixes and send them out. And so I think as time has gone by, and there are different tools, because there are various tools now you can use to get your product out. Yes, there are more ways to be accessible, but it wasn't the genesis of what made me start off.
Okay, could you have... Well, you're one of the most in-demand DJs to come out of Trinidad and Tobago. Is this something that you anticipated?
I wouldn't say I anticipated it. I mean, I am a person that works very hard for, what I believe in and what I want, and stay focused in terms of my sound, my style, the way that I would conceptualize, let's say, the names of the mixes, what I want to mix, the events that I want to put on for people who follow me and are fans. So I think it's just a testament to hard work. It's hard. It's a lot of hard work that goes into, me being where I am right now. And the work still continues. I still actually don't think I've even touched the surface in terms of where I could go, what I could do.
Okay, and where do you see yourself going from here?
The sky's the limit, because if you asked me years ago if I would be traveling the world, as a DJ, I would not have been able to answer that. But and if anyone asked me if I would be able to throw a global event that now has, in terms of demand, in terms of following, there's a lot of different things that I could do, whether it be original production, which is in terms of bringing now my own creation in terms of music, in terms of artist management, in terms of recruiting new DJs, in terms of giving them, the outlet to express themselves in whatever way they feel, and then they can now create their own path. There are a lot of different things that I may touch on, and even in terms of being involved with charities, in terms of giving back. There are a lot of different things that I want to, do as time goes by.
And outside of your work ethic, what would you say sets you apart?
Outside of my work ethic, I'm a very easygoing guy. Anyone knows me. I'm, somebody who, I try not to take things too seriously. I like to be very laid back, like to, go out with friends, just chill out, So like it's all that, it comes back to balance. It comes back to being able to not only work all the time, but you have to find the fun and the joys in life itself, because life, could be done in a minute.
True that. Do you find it difficult though to balance your personal and professional life?
I would say yes, because the thing is, you never stop working. You see, this job very much, and I say job, it's not a job because I enjoy it, but it's very time consuming when you're doing a lot of different aspects of the business, and it's also different to another business because you are the business. As DJ Private Ryan, it is on me to perform, is on me to, record the mixes, it's on me to conceptualize, what I want the events to look like. It's on me to travel and go to these places. So of course, in a 24-hour day, there's only so much you can do. And, there are a lot of different aspects of your business and your life that you need to take into consideration. And then, trying to balance a strong personal life with an entrepreneurial life could seem, it's always a constant tug and pull in terms of which one, will get more attention.
And for now, the music takes.
Takes a lot of attention because I'm still building and still have a vision in terms of where I want to go and what I want to do and stuff.
Outside of Trinidad and Tobago, which carnivals are your favorite to work and why?
Oh, that's a hard question. I've seen the rise of different carnivals over the past, let's say, 3 to 4 years. I would say Jamaica is one carnival. Surprisingly because Jamaica is known for reggae, but Jamaica Carnival is really growing. I've seen Notting Hill Carnival grow. I've seen, they have the Bahamas that also is investing in Carnival. They have Barbados Crop Over, which now has a lot of influence from outside. In terms of favorite, I would say one of them definitely has to be Jamaica. Something about Jamaica Carnival is very reminiscent of home. And Notting Hill, because I like the inclusiveness of it. It's huge, but the events are it's not just about Trinidad. It's about the Haitians and the French Caribbean and even the UK people and it's a lot of different things that come together and make it one thing.
Okay, as you brought up Jamaica, what do you think dancehall has been able to break into international markets in a way that soca hasn't fully achieved just yet? What do you think could be done to propel soca to those heights?
I'd say unity is one. I think in terms of a movement, dancehall is a movement. Reggae is a movement. It was something that, and they're very proud of it. Jamaicans are very proud of their culture. And I think it's not just about unity amongst the artists, it's about unity amongst the producers, it's about unity with the mass makers, unity with the people, the patrons who, they should support their own music as it goes out as a product. I think in terms of the business side of things, maybe the artists need to make sure that they get the right producers, the right writers, the right exposure in terms of managers and making sure that their publishing and all those things are put together so that soca as a product is ready to export to the world. I think for many years because Carnival is engraved in our culture, it's a cultural thing. So we do it and we do it for the fun of it. A lot of people do things for the fun of it. But, they don't realize that outside soca is a huge thing. It's actually just waiting there to be accepted because you see the lines are kind of blurry. They have Afro soca and you see that even in pop music, there are elements of soca music that have been infused in it. And so then, people are asking, what is soca? And, it's very important for us to really make sure that soca has a really good and strong identity out there.
So you think then that more should be done to educate the masses here at home?
Yes, educate. And then there's also the youth. There's the young artists that have to take the mantle from the veterans. And they may have the template and the talent to take it forward. I mean, it's not to say that soca has not been recognized and people don't know it. Like, let's say, for example, Rupi has just been signed. Tipsy is now signed with Ultra, and that's a big thing. And Kevin Little did it years ago. You go back to Arrow with Hot Hot Hot. You look at the history of it. It's not to say that they won't accept it. It's just a matter of us as a Caribbean people, because it's not just about Trinidad as a movement. How do we take it outside? How do we take this product that is ours and make it, something that the world will accept and see as our thing?
Looking at or judging from the offerings from the younger artists, are you satisfied that soca music is in good hands? Well, the future of it?
Very much so. I think if you look at this, let's look at this year, for example. You have Second Star, who's doing really well. I'm really glad for him because, for years I've seen him. He's hungry. He wants to be successful. He really wants to put a solid product out. And he's actually written other successful songs for artists. You look at Neutron, who has a really great contribution this year with Calypso, but he's also a phenomenal producer in GBM, and he's produced for a lot of artists from Destra to Marshall Montano to Kess. So you have Pretty, you have Urfan Alves, you have a lot of young talent that is there, and I think it's in good hands because they actually move as a unit. There's no actual bad blood or bad energy between them, which is important because they are going to be the future leaders of the soca industry. You look at Voice, I have to mention Voice as well, who's also a phenomenal writer and vocal talent and entertainer as well too. So I think we're in good hands.
Do you think it's a good idea though for the older heads to implement some form of mentorship program for the younger ones so that they wouldn't take as long in some cases to achieve certain successes that the older ones, they wouldn't have to go through the same struggles then?
I think it is important because you see there's a lot of experiences and missteps that many artists would have made over time that you can help and guide a younger artist and let them know, well, this is the path you should take and this is the things you could do to make your product better, your stage appearance better, in terms of making sure that you have the right contracts in terms of what the producer must get, what you must get, writer credits. There are a lot of different things that I don't think are in place for as like a central hub for younger artists to really understand not just the literal recording of a soca track, but the business of soca and what it is to become and move forward as a soca artist, an international soca artist.
It's being said that power soca is dead. Do you agree?
I don't think power soca is dead. I mean, this year there are more power offerings than there were last year that, are in rotation. It's just that, as with everything goes through cycles. I think, there will be a resurgence of power soca, but I think what happened over the course of a couple of years is that the focus was so driven on finding that international hit that people stopped making the fun power soca because the international market can't, and they don't in general accept that. They don't know what it is because when we're talking about the road and these things, they don't know what it is because they don't know the culture of it. So the music slowed down. It got groovy, and you got a lot of great tracks over the years. But everything is a cycle. It's the same way that, they thought brass was dead and then Like a Boss came out and then that was the biggest song. That was the resurgence of brass. The same way that people may say Calypso is dead, but Calypso has come back in another form. Look at Calypso Rose. So people who don't know that is like actual Kaiso music think it's something new, but it's actually something that's now come full circle. It's the same way that power soca will find its way back, I'm sure, into the culture.
Going through social media, you see some fat patrons complaining about the dancehall and hip hop being played in Carnival Fest. As a DJ, do you allow your audience to dictate what you play? Is it that you go to events with a set and you don't deviate from it regardless? I
don't. Well, I read the crowd, so I go on basic vibes of the crowd. However, during Carnival, I stick to soca. I am versatile in a lot of different genres, but I think for the culture, and especially because there's such a small window for the patrons to learn the music, and the fact that the artist would have spent months trying to put out a good quality product for you to listen, there's only so much time to learn it. I think that the DJs should give respect to that and try the same way that they will play the newest Cartel or the newest Future and the hip hop and the dancehall and the reggae stuff. They can give that same love to their own, which goes back to what we were talking about. The real science in being a DJ is not only to entertain, but it's to educate. And so you should, as a DJ, take it upon yourself to be creative, to try and bring those things to life. And you balance it off with, of course, if people are standing still because they don't know it, you try and find a way to bridge it. Maybe you might stick in a 2016 song and then segue it into 2017 where you kind of make the learning curve a little, so because you'll get them to move and then you tell a story into something else and then you go, it's a science tip,
Okay. In your capacity as a DJ, how much of an influence do you have over road match?
I don't. That's the people. The people dictate the road match. At least with me and the bands that I play for, I don't think that no one could tell me what to play on the day of the road. The masqueraders, they are the ultimate judge. If they want to hear a certain song on the road and cross the stage with it, then that's them.
And it's often said also, forgive me for playing devil's advocate, but I have to ask. Some people accuse DJs of taking money from certain artists to play their songs regularly at events. Is there something that really happened?
I don't know. It never happened with me. I actually wouldn't take the money. To be honest, I can't. I would not compromise my integrity and by taking money to play a song. To me, what dictates what plays is always the people and the quality of the song. Somebody could give you a money and the song really just doesn't make the mark. When you have somebody else who might have a great song and that song is now being stifled out because you're taking money. That's not how I operate, at least.
All right, switching gears a little bit. Talk to me about Soca Brainwash. How old is it? How was it conceptualized?
Soca Brainwash was conceptualized. Soca Brainwash is a mix, first of all. It's one of the major podcasts I did. So the idea behind Soca Brainwash was to make a mix that included the majority of the Carnival season, right? The reason I did that, and I call it Soca Brainwash, because it was to brainwash you with the soca of that particular year. And it's because when I was away in college, I was a DJ. I used to get the music, I would, access the music in various ways because I would want to keep up to date while I was away. However, the people who used to come back to Trinidad from away knew nothing until they landed, and they might land like 3 or 2 days before Carnival, and they literally had to learn like 100 and something songs. And so I said, I'm gonna make a mix called Soca Brainwash that they could learn everything. Then a couple of years later, I tried to make this experience into an event where I know I could, expand on my creativity of the mix and make it into an experience, which is why I wanted to make it a festival type DJ driven experience. So it has no live performances. It's literally, it's headlined by myself, but I incorporate the DJs from around the world who are making waves in soca. So I take one from New York, one from Toronto, one from the UK, one from Barbados, and I make an experience, and then I produce it on a level that people have come to appreciate. On Carnival Saturday, which was a day before I did it, had absolutely nothing to do. So I brought it. I wanted it to be vibrant and bright and day festival. And so it's done pretty well.
Could you have anticipated the response to it though?
It's been all right. Like the demand for it is pretty good, but as I said, because I work alongside, people don't believe when I say this, but Soca Brainwash is literally planned by 4 other individuals besides myself. Right, 2 of my really good friends, my mother and my sister.
Wow.
And we put together that, and not just Trinidad, but we put that together around the world.
And how many people do you all have at the average event?
I would say it's thousands of people. It varies based on capacity of the venues around the world. But, it is thousands of people that come out, and not in the low thousands. But yeah, it varies. Wow. Yeah.
All right, well, that's good. That's really good. I'm really happy to hear about your successes and your growth in the industry. Before we wrap up, I want you to tell me, where is your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Where's my favorite place? Oh, that's a hard one. All of them have such a unique energy that it's hard to pinpoint. As I said, I love Jamaica. I love our Caribbean-wise. I love St. Lucia as well. In the States, Miami, of course, because I used to live there. I'm a big fan of London. I'm a big fan of, Berlin was a really nice city too, and Paris.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Ryan, thanks so much for coming. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
That's okay.
So hopefully you'll come back and we can chat again.
Anytime.
And all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we conclude this installment of Conversations with C News. I am Dionne Baptiste. Good afternoon.